Alright guys, today we're doing something a little bit different. We're talking about my 3 favorite kind of early summer, late spring presentation options. You know, seasons are changing. We're having a great day fishing out here, and you know, it's not just solely jigging and minnow season right now. We're fishing a few different things, and one of those in particular is the SlipBobber. SlipBobbering is super effective this time of year. This water temp starts warming up, and basically you start getting a lot more bug catch this time of year. I'm throwing a few SlipBobbers out right now, kind of around this little target we're fishing. And basically with SlipBobbers, it's almost all leeches this time of year. I'm fishing a ton of leeches on these things, and leeches are great, especially when bugs start becoming a big deal. Shelby actually has a bobber down right now. Okay, Shelby's hooked up on a nice one behind me here. Just casted that bobber out. How's it feel, Shelby?
Nice.
Feels like a good one. And that was right on cue, just as perfect as could be. But they start eating bugs, especially when this water gets into that kind of low 60-degree range like we got now. The leeches are just absolutely killer. You can jig them. I do a lot of them, fishing them on a SlipBobber, and the reason for that is it's a very locational thing. I'm fishing a very specific spot, very tight quarters, and especially in clear water, these fish absolutely love leeches, just like this one did here. You better keep an eye on this SlipBobber. I'll give you guys a look here. This is an angry one. Scarf down, just a little jig and a leech, and I'll kind of show you how I'm rigging these up here. Nice walleye. It's definitely Memorial Weekend out, as you can see behind me. Guys driving right over the fish. But the way I'm rigging these up, I'll kind of do it one of 2 ways. Shelby's got another nice walleye on here. How's it feel, Shelby? This is the most Memorial Day weekend thing I've ever seen in my life. We've got literally a guy pulling jet skis behind us. Shelby is catching walleyes left and right. Is he a netter?
Yeah.
Netter?
No, it's small.
Here, let's see. One after another back there. There's another nice walleye. And we were talking about basically how we're rigging up for these things. Nice walleye there. And there's one of 2 ways I like to rig a SlipBobber. Number 1, this one's a little bit tangled, but I run just a little 32nd or 1/8 ounce, kind of between those two, any of those sizes right in there, but real light and something with a good hook gap, a good strong hook. And a lot of light is the key, right? 1/8's probably a little bit too much for this time of year, but in the summer I'll run a lot of that 1/8 ounce stuff. And we're SlipBobbering a lot of this, I would say 6 to 12 feet of water right now. The fish we're catching right now are in about 8 feet on the inside edge of a milfoil pocket that this guy keeps running over behind me. And the important part with SlipBobbering is, this is a huge tangle here, but it's to get bobbers that have these brass grommets in the end. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that, but basically it has a brass grommet in there that keeps that line from getting frayed and makes the line go through the SlipBobber much easier. Shelby's got me hooked in the foot. All right, we're out. But that's the important part. The 2 I fish is the one that looks like this, and then a Phil Wobble bobber is the other one I like to fish a lot too. And those 2 bobbers are great. And I run a 2 or 3 foot lead of 8-pound fluorocarbon down to a little swivel, and then that little 1/8 ounce weight in there, and then your bobber, right? And you know, a lot of times I'm kind of adjusting these on the fly. And what I'll do, you know, I go off of rod lengths. This is a 7.5 foot medium light fast action Elliott rod. It's a great rod for doing this. It's long, it's limber, has a lot of load to it, and it's great for SlipBobber fishing. And it's 7.5 feet long, so if that SlipBobber knot's at the tip of my rod and the jig is right at the bottom of the rod, I know I'm fishing 7.5 feet down, right? So I kind of adjust it based off that on the fly. But the number 1 way I'm fishing these SlipBobbers is once I've located a very tight pot of fish relating to a piece of structure. It's not a great way to fish if you're just fishing a vast featureless flat, right? Because there's probably, you got to cover too much water. We'll use something else to do that. But this is kind of the deal. A lot of times I'm fishing very tight pockets of milfoil like we are today, or you know, like a down tree in the water, or a big crib or something like that, or a very small little rock pile. And you know, that's kind of the deal. The SlipBobber is great because you're fishing very stationary. You can leave that bait in front of them for a long time, and the leech is an absolute killer. But the one main thing with a SlipBobber is you gotta find fish before you can start fishing it, because you can't cover water with a SlipBobber. So kind of moving on to a few of the other things that I use quite a bit. One of my other favorites is some kind of plastic. like your Kalins. This is the new tickle tail. It's a swim bait, and I love snapping these around. I've done a bunch of videos on these in the past, and this is the Google-Eye swim bait head. Great combination right there, and I'll kind of throw some footage up here, but you can kind of see how I'm working this. I'm snapping it, popping it, keeping it moving, and it definitely gets big bites. And this is a great tool for like covering flats where there's like fish here, fish here, fish here, right? A big sand flat, a big weed edge, something like that. And the other option I fish a lot, so this is the Kalins Jerkminnow Jr. I fish this kind of the same way, but a little bit snappier. And I've done a bunch of videos on these in the past week or so now. And you fish them aggressive and they get a ton of bites. They're great for covering a lot of these large areas. You know, whether you're fishing, you know, a sand flat, a gravel flat, a rock flat, or a weed flat. You know, they're great for bombing a very long ways and working back to the boat. You can cover a lot of water, and I'm always fishing these pretty much on 1/4 ounce heads this time of year, because I'm fishing a lot of that 5 to 12, 13 foot stuff, right? And these two baits are absolute killers. I have a ton, immense amounts of confidence catching fish on this one, kind of no matter where I go, and that is called Arkansas Shad color. And it's an absolutely killer bait. So plastic is an absolutely great way to fish this time of year, like I've talked about, because you can cover a ton of water. Plastics are always great, but especially very early in the spring, you notice like when that water's in the low 40s, there might be some days where it's just tough to get bit on plastics. It's kind of more of a live bait thing. Well, as the water warms up, you can definitely, your success on plastics ramps up as well. I go for it. Oh, shelter's hooked up. Another one on the old SlipBobber. Obviously a very effective way to fish. I'm trying to tell you guys about the next way I like to catch them, but I got just a huge tangle here, and Shelbster's just pounding them. So what do you think?
I could do this the rest of the day.
How's the
rest of the summer?
How's the early summer SlipBobber bite?
So much fun.
Want me to scoop them here?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave the camera stationary, but.
Oh, this is a nice one.
That's a nice one, Shelby. I wish you guys could see it, because it is just a beaut down there. Just, he's got milfoil all over him. There we go, Shelby.
Oh yeah.
Show the folks at home that one.
Here is a nice Hayward walleye on the SlipBobber. It's a super easy and effective way to fish for them right at this time of year. That one's gone.
Uh oh. Shelbster is just on them right now. Too much fun?
Yeah, I cannot believe it. They're just biting every single one of these.
Well, anyways, incredibly effective way to fish. But we just got a tiny little pot of fish. They're all sitting in a very small area. That's why this is so effective.
Okay. Oh, just a tiny baby.
Just a little eater walleye there. It's starting to rain. We're gonna pop this guy off quick.
There's that one.
Just a little eater there.
This one. Oh, there it goes.
Uh-oh. Shelby's just having too much fun right now. I can't even do the video I was hoping to do, because Shelby's catching so many fish. Just a little eater there. Alright, so the next thing I do a lot of is I pull a spinner rig by hand. Now a lot of times the spinner rig trolling I do requires planer boards and a whole bunch of rods, but this time of year what I like to do is I like to put it on a long rod, and just a spinning rod with braid, and I like to put a 1/4 ounce weight up in front of that spinner rig, and then just your standard one hook spinner rig. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just putting a leech on there, because I'm trolling through so many bluegills and perch and stuff that I don't want a crawler in there. It's just gonna get picked apart too much, and they love eating leeches this time of year. And then same thing, you know, this is a great way to cover a flat where it's like fish here, fish here, fish here, fish here. And I'm casting it behind the boat, like you can see here, and I'm trolling this down a spot, and it's a lot of manipulation with the rod. It's a lot of kind of pull that rod forward, let it back to make sure you're close to bottom. And basically you just wanna be, you know, a couple feet near bottom most of the time, and that's gonna do it. And a lot of times when you feel that fish bite, you just kind of let that rod drag back, and then a big swing forward, you know. So that's another absolutely killer way that you guys are gonna see us fish a bunch here in the next few weeks. And you know, between those three baits, you're pretty much set, honestly, for a lot of this time of year. You know, in the jig presentation, we're talking plastics, we're talking snap jigs, we're talking swim baits, a lot of this kind of stuff in that 1/4 ounce size. You know, a lot of your very stationary type spot fishing like this, SlipBobber is a great tool to get the job done, as you can see today. And for a lot of your kind of combing bigger flats, you know, you can either pull spinners on planer boards if you want, very light stuff, or, you know, you can kind of do that hand thing and kind of run the trolling motor right down that break or right down that weed edge. So, you know, this is kind of three of my basically favorite ways to fish this time of year, and some stuff that you guys are gonna be seeing me do a lot. And you know, hopefully this video was beneficial for you guys, more so than just watching Shelby smoke a whole bunch of walleyes. But yeah, you know, this is, oh, she's got another one going. She's got one going, folks. What is it? Oh, she's got him. You guys still got him?
Oh, yeah.
No, she still got him. She still got him.
Of course
It's getting bigger though.
Nope, lost it.
Now she lost it. That was anticlimactic, Shelby. But anyways, hopefully this video was useful for you guys. You know, if you guys are fishing walleyes in the next couple weeks here around the Northwoods, really anywhere in walleye country, get yourself some of these kind of 3-4 baits, and you're gonna be set to go. So thank you guys for watching. We're gonna keep pounding some walleyes off camera, and if you're not yet, please subscribe. We'll see you. Oh, here she goes. Here she goes. We'll give her one more shot. You got that one?
Yeah.
She's got this one on. Give me a show poser, Shelby.
This better be a big one then. 30 incher?
I don't know if it's a 30 incher. I don't even know if it's a big one.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's just a little guy. But you're catching them left and right.
Yes, I am.
Hold it up to the camera and close it out for me.
Okay. Just a little eater. I don't even know if this is an eater.
He's probably smaller than an eater.
Yeah, he's tiny. This is the last one we got. We're gonna, here I go again.
All right, guys, there it is. Last little walleye we're gonna catch on video. We're gonna keep smoking them off camera, but I appreciate you guys watching. Anything to say? You're a legend.
I am a legend. This is so much fun. Get out there and try it.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.